Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Welcome to Radio AMB, designed for those who want to live a long and vibrant life. I'm Patty Schmucker, your host, and I've been in the beauty industry for over 40 years. Radio AMB, which stands for American-Made Beauty, is where we tell the secrets behind the making of health and beauty products. Our segment sponsor today is AmericanMadeBeauty.com, a beauty platform designed to help consumers find beauty companies that are implementing the industry's best practices to bring you quality products and services. Go to AmericanMadeBeauty.com and find beauty products and services that meet a strict set of standards that reflect our American heritage. Do you want to try some of our brands? Click on the consumer page and sign up for the free American Made Beauty box, customized with the brands that you want to try and products selected just for you. That's AmericanMadeBeauty.com. As a manufacturer in the beauty industry, this is the time of the year, the last 45 days of each year and the first 30 days of the new year, that's a very interesting period. It's an interesting period because the heavy lifting for our industry is done in preparation for Black Friday, which means just before Thanksgiving. And if you haven't sold in whatever you're doing before that, it doesn't really matter because the shelves are full. That means that the real heavy lifting in our industry is done between July and September, making goods and getting ready to sell in. Of course, then we have the holiday season, Christmas and New Year's and all of that kind of stuff, and people are so consumed and busy with that there's not a lot that gets done. And in manufacturing, we also have the first few weeks of January that are sort of very slow because one of our major manufacturing partners in China is celebrating Chinese New Year, which just took place this last weekend. So this is the time of the year that I use for reflecting, looking ahead, recharging the battery, and planning strategically on how to optimize my results in the next 1 to 3 years. Our show today is happening spontaneously as my amazing guest planned for today was supposed to be Rosa Juranis, the Schwarzkopf Professional North American Color Director. We'll look forward to having her on the show sometime in April as her grandmother passed last night. Our prayers go out to Rosa and her family at this very difficult time. It's also a week that's brought terrible, sad news to our industry as one of the leading voices from the Wella family was found dead at his home here in California. I must take a moment and reflect on someone that has provided so much to our industry and has been a vivid and influential leader for so many. Fabio Sementelli was Vice President of Education for Wella Professional and known as Big Daddy to many. Fabio has been with Wella since 2007, following a 23-year career as a world champion, international platform artist, and salon owner before he was tapped to become Wella's North American Education Director. He wrote a message on his Facebook feed just last week that is so touching and shows why he will be missed. Fabio wrote, 30 years ago today I received my hairstylist certificate, and my professional career started with optimism, an immigrant family work ethic with no pedigree in hairdressing to speak of, but I had a strong conviction with hopes and dreams. I must give a million thank yous to my mentors, my friends, and my family, starting with my mom, who always believed in me and gave me the strength to always get up and do it. I owe so much to my first professional mentor and my sister, Marella Rota Cementito, beginning from our salon in the basement so many years ago. Fabio concluded the post with my favorite quote from Dr. Martin Luther King: "Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be a sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or fail. Be the best of whatever you are. Big Daddy loves you." Well, a big shout-out to Fabio's family, our friends at Wella, who he meant so much to, and to all the people who have been touched by this amazing person. Fabio, you will be missed. Okay, so where does that leave us in the show today? Well, as I mentioned at the top of the show, this is the time of the year that I use to reflect, look ahead, recharge the battery, and plan strategically on how to optimize my results for the next 1 to 3 years. Today we'll take a journey through some of the training I've immersed myself in during the last 60 days and how that information is shaping my thinking for 2017 and beyond. We'll start with one of the most profound speakers I have studied with during this period, Vishen Lakhiani of Mind Valley, which was founded in 2003 as a learning experience company that publishes ideas and teachings by the best authors in personal growth and is building a workplace of the future. Then we'll look at work by Arina Bogus, the creator of Real Girl, a revolutionary empowerment program for girls. If time allows, we'll share some insights from Kimberly Snyder, certified nutritionist, who co-authored the book Radical Beauty with my friend Deepak Chopra. And finally, we will show how these teachers are shaping my focus for the year ahead. So let me get started. I attended an industry event that has come to be known as a great way to start the new year with Neal Corporation in New Orleans. And in that show, they bring together some of their very interesting speakers that really talk about where the industry is as well as where the world is and how to prepare yourself to be able to optimize your human potential. One of the speakers that I enjoyed the most was Vishen Lakhiani. He was the founder of Mind Valley, and his presentation struck me because he is living proof that a new approach to interacting with each other can lead to success in business. His book, The Code to the Extraordinary Mind, blends evolutionary biology and computational thinking and provides a new framework for identifying, questioning, and redefining beliefs to understand and enhance the human self, drawing knowledge from the world's brightest minds such as Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Peter Diamandis, Ken Wilber, and Arianna Huffington, and more. Here's the key concepts that really resonated with me as I was going through the various different programs. First of all, he indicated to us that we're in business to serve customers, but the best way to do this is to serve employees. And what an interesting and important acknowledgement for the world that we live in today, because so many businesses, I've just recently heard a business owner that said to me, I really don't buy into that stuff that employees are first. But here's a company that has done so and really reflects tremendous success. He says that you start by finding and hiring people smarter than you, then getting out of the way and trusting them. When you do this, you can attract people who rally around your business and thrive. When you do this, this is what allows you to really create a business that's magical. It didn't come as a surprise to me when he mentioned that 54% of Americans hate their job. And so why is that? And part of it is that they don't really feel like they're working for a visionary company. And he proposes that to create a visionary company, to make it a reality, you have to build a tribe. So what is it that he's suggesting are some of the things that we can do to build tribes? And that's we have to have new rules. He believes that there are B rules, essentially BS rules that we adapt to simplify the way the world works and to understand it. But if we don't create new rules, we're going to continue to do the exact same thing we've been doing, getting the same results that we've gotten in the past. So here's 7 ways that he outlines to make your business magical. First he says step one is creative attraction. You need to build job descriptions that reflect the why of your business. And we've been spending quite a bit of time in some of the organizations that we work with talking about why. Why does the business exist? And if you haven't heard Simon Sinek, who I think has really been the master that has memorialized what it means to create a why for a company, I suggest that you go and look at his work. We talk about building a job description that reflects the why of the business and the why for that particular individual. Build a job ad about the why rather than the skills that a person needs to do the job. And actually create a manifesto of why to join the company. So somebody has a grander sense and a sense of purpose when they come into the organization. He also talks about the idea and understanding that in order to be able to attract the millennial of today, to attract workers who want to be involved, understand the underlying reasons why people take jobs. Therefore, growth, happiness, meaning, and abundance. So understanding one of the new rules is that we all have limited time and resources, and people want to invest where they think they're going to get a return on their investment. And again, it's not necessarily just money. In today's day and age, there is equity in growth, happiness, meaning, and abundance. And I love that. Step number 2, he suggests, is name every attribute of a perfect employee. And that's identify attitude and skills, and then hire for the attitudes and train for the skills. So make sure that you set the bar for awesome. If you're going to list what your vision is for those people that are going to make the company come alive, it's to be able to set the bar on, what does that look like? High bars for talent and never compromise. You want to create an organization where people are really thriving. A players attract A players. So if you have people who are showing up and are part of your team, but they're not participating the same way as your A players are, all they're going to do is drag down your A players. So make sure that you have people who are willing to go the extra mile and creating a culture where that kind of attitude is there. Again, hire for attitude, train for skill. And one of the ways that he looks for that is, in this day and age, is video cover letters to resumes. The day and age where you would just do a written cover letter, or amazing how many of you, if you're a business owner, have experienced getting a resume in this day and age that is no cover letter at all and not in any way customized to the opportunity of your company. So look for people in those early stages with those little signs that indicate that they're going the extra mile. Step number 3, he says, establish a common code. And so one of the ways that he suggests doing this is to have everyone in the organization, if you already have a group, write down 4 or 5 values that they believe are part of what makes this organization a place where they want to belong. What are the values that make this place strong? And ask your directors or the HR person to collect and sort these in commonalities. And oftentimes what will happen is you'll end up with buckets. And that bucket is what he calls the awesomeness code. The code that emerges, it's really critical that this process is followed like this, because it really is a code that needs to emerge from the leadership of the organization as well as from the team. And by establishing that common code, everybody gets on the same page on how to perform within the organization. Step number 4, he says, is creating happiness. Figure out how to infuse happiness into the culture. Integrate the social life into the work. And one of my favorite books that he actually quotes as well is a book called Good to Great. And it talks about the idea that 50% of the people will be more satisfied when they work with people that they like. So 50% of our workforce tends to be happier in their job if they're doing a job with people that they like. And I'm surprised that it's only 50%. I would say the number is much higher. So there are things that we can do as leaders to create closeness within the business environment. And I really loved how he hit it on the head from my perspective in terms of what's necessary in organizations to create this kind of abundance mentality. And that number 1 thing is leader in a positive mood every day. And if you are a leader of an organization or you're a leader of any group and you're not in a positive mood and you can't get in a positive mood, stay home. Because, you know, the reality is that the emotions are contagious, and particularly if they are the emotions of the boss. So in our society, and we'll talk a little bit more about why that's so prevalent in our next segment, but right now the boss is the one that sets the tone and sets the pace, so it's extremely important that there's a positive mood there. Culture days create various different types of events that create friendships. He cites the example of creating a day in which everyone shows up with the artifacts of their culture. I'm Puerto Rican, so I would show up with my Puerto Rican flag and maybe some arroz con pollo or some other things. That's my Puerto Rican heritage, as will my workers who hopefully are a diverse workforce, and we begin to understand some of the interesting things about each other's cultures, but also just understand the human being better. Infuse love into the workplace. This was really cute, and it's coming up here in February. They call it Love Week, and they actually made it a public event February 13th through the 14th. So if you look up Love Week and Mind Valley, I'm sure that you can log in and figure out all of the details. But it's basically a week-long event where each person is assigned someone for the week, and that person is to basically be an angel and to show them throughout the week different ways in which they can be loved. And so it creates friendships at work and creates laughter, and the key opportunities for connections among people on a human level. There's many authors that have said it, but I think it's people do business with people that they like is one of the prevailing concepts that I think holds true in this day and age, more than any before, because technology has made us connected in so many ways and disconnected in so many other ways. Step 5 is leadership is recognizing that as leadership we want to recognize that we're all one and that your team is as talented as the leadership is willing to cultivate. Remember that his first rule was hire people smarter than you and then get out of the way. And so that means that you really want to be in a place as a leader to have a lot of confidence and that you're willing to cultivate the best in other people even if they outshine you. Set goals that are end goals rather than traditional social goals. They're goals that make your heart sing rather than social dictates. So he really suggests that there are sort of 3 types of goals that a leader is working with on an individual basis with people in their team to cultivate this environment for talent within your organization. And those are experience goals, growth goals, and then give back goals. So growth, experience, and contribution. And within those, as an experience goal, it would be help me, what's on your bucket? What's, one thing that you want to make sure you do in the next 5 years? I'd like to, jump out of an airplane, go skydiving. And so as a business owner, it would be one of the things that you would maybe help that person realize what's necessary and how to achieve that goal. And then growth goals, what are some of the things that they'd like to set for themselves as ways to grow. And oftentimes we're much harder on ourselves than anyone else could ever be with us. And then contribution, because at the end of the day, when we each put ourselves into a situation in which we are not focused on ourselves but focused on others, is where we have the highest level of opportunity for happiness. And one of the authors that I've read during this period actually talks about the chemical release that occurs in the body when we as human beings are providing happiness for other people. I'm reading the book Joy, that has the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Tutu speaking about joy and where does joy come from. And they talk in great detail about the idea that happiness generally is something that comes from outside. It's events that occur external to us, where joy is a choice that occurs internally, and one of the ways to achieve it is through contribution and giving back. And so having, as part of step 5, developing and cultivating talent is by being able to create goals that are more end goals, end to our lives versus just sort of the social goals of numbers and short-term objectives. And I think that those are profoundly different ways for business owners to think. But step 6 basically is meaning, and step 6 is he really looks at Branson as an inspiration. That his message is the main thing is that people within your organization is able to see their work as a mission. In the industrial age, one of the problems that we have is that people tend to focus on small problems. And the greatest gift that a leader can give people to inspire them is to give them major problems to solve. Thus, it goes back to this idea of contributing. How can we participate in the world in such a way in which we're able to make a mark, leave our legacy, stand for something, care about something, and so the part of this meaning is creating a mission reminders and being inspired and reminding people about that opportunity to be inspired. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'll wrap up some of the things that I heard in this particular session, and we'll end up with Blissadin, which is the discipline for the generation based on creating bliss in your life. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the Internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com, and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Where positive people and radio unite. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back. You're listening to Radio AMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm Patty Schmucker, and I'm here today summarizing some of the learnings that I've been going through in preparation for this year that lies ahead, and how I'm being able to apply that in my work and cultivating my strategy for the new year. One of the people that I spent some time with is Vishen Laksima, the founder of Mind Valley, which is a organization that's devoted to helping people learn. He wrote a book called Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And in my previous segment, we talked a little bit about the first 6 steps that he describes in the code for an extraordinary mind. The 7th step is abundance, and it means that when we it's a goal, and it's not the end goal. It's when we can't compete on salary, make people feel significant. So it's not abundance. It's not just about physical money. Ask each team member to acknowledge someone who they got a gift from the day before. It's one of the techniques that they use to create this significance and this abundance. And so for what he discovered in his own organization, that each person was assigned this task, that each day they want to find somebody that gave them a gift in some way in the workplace. And in his own organization, what he found was after 21 days of doing this, they had a 50% increase in revenue and a 34% decrease in turnover. So there's an opportunity to actually turn into tangible results in your life. So simply make a list of gifts for people in your life, and some of the other techniques that they do to create more of that sense of abundance is they try as often as possible to have meetings that have everyone participate. They call them celebration meetings, awesomeness meetings, celebrations and victories. Those are the words that they use around the gatherings that they put together. They turn gratitude events into part of the work environment. And they make sure that on a weekly basis they're updating everyone, including virtual staff, and as often as possible sharing letters of customers and employees and people who feel good about being involved with the organization. As I said, he ends his presentation with a discipline of this generation, which is blisscipline, which is being able to find an environment that creates bliss. And so I thought that was really one of the presentations and books that I've read that has stuck with me as something that really is important. I walked this week along with another estimated 2.5 million women in the Women's March. And I did so because the measure of a strong democratic nation is the smooth transition from one administration to another. As a business owner who's deeply involved in international business, I know that our power as a nation is diluted by our weakening of this fundamental provision of democracy. So I have a choice on how I'm going to face the next year, 4 years, which is obviously not something that I'm thrilled about, and that is to hold the new administration, to operate with integrity, and join forces with people like the author I just talked about, the founder of Mind Valley, and who authored the book Code of the Extraordinary Mind, and another author that I read during this period, Irina Bogus, the creator of Real Girls, which is a revolutionary empowerment program for girls. See, I think that to keep America progressing, I think it's critical to avoid the temptation to focus on the red herrings that our current elected figures appear to like to constantly throw at us. Instead, I want to focus on understanding the real, tangible issues that allow our nation to elect the current administration, and I want to become part of the voice for action against policies that conflict with the principles that have made this country a place where the world sends their children to be educated, which means that our nation is affecting generation after generation after generation of people who are educated in our philosophies. But it also is an environment where business owners and innovation thrive. I have spent time reading 9 Ways We're Screwing Up Girls and How to Stop, written by Anna Bogus. The book is a timely manifesto, in my opinion, that describes how a culture can build a social environment where the majority of the social group are afflicted with a pressure that precludes them from giving their best, precludes us from having the best and brightest people in the positions of leadership. So Anna's approach to guiding women is rooted in her philosophy that knowing and honoring one's authentic self is essential and fundamental to personal empowerment and healthy relationships. In her work, she guides women through a process of self-discovery and self-value with individualized tools to support the creation of a path that will bring greater fulfillment, sense of purpose, and success in a chosen endeavor. It struck me as fascinating to see the evidence in our society that supports the philosophy that throughout our lives, women are faced with the challenges of discerning messages we receive from our parents, our peers, media, and society in general that tells us not to be true to ourselves and to stay in line and follow the men that are in charge. And this, I think, is really very difficult for our society today. And as someone who has the opportunity to influence women, I am particularly caught by what I'm learning and reading in these books. Some of the examples that she gives in terms of the ways in which our society has just set us up, you know, in religion, in Western religion, God is almost exclusively spoken of as male. Eve, a woman, is responsible for the fall of mankind, and as a result, she should be she should suffer. The results of her transgression, she's being punished with childbirth as opposed to the ability to give birth and being presented as a powerful gift that makes women a creator and capable of sustaining the human race. The one that struck me very interesting myself earlier this year was when Pope Francis, perhaps the most inclusive pope to date, recently reiterated the question of women in priesthood is not a question open to discussion. And that's it's mind-blowing. In the letter of the law, it's also pretty mind-blowing to understand that until the 20th century, which would have been in the 1900s, that's 1990, 1900s, the woman was considered first the property of her father and then her husband. The tradition of a woman taking her husband's last name upon marriage reflects that belief. A woman was not allowed to vote until 1920. We haven't even reached the 100-year mark of when women were able to vote. But I found this particularly interesting. The Equal Rights Amendment was originally drafted in 1923. It actually died in 1982 after an amendment. And to this date, to today, still has not been ratified. So we're talking about the Equal Rights Amendment, which says that the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex, still has not been ratified in this country. Before 1976, it was legal for a husband to rape his wife. Before 1976. Even as it's amazing to me to hear these various different issues, and as we're facing now an administration that is making us feel like we need to fight for our rights relative to our reproductive health. There's many more that I can go on in government. Of course, we've never seen a female president in the Oval Office. In the media, there are 37% of prime-time characters are made up of women only. 4-to-1 ratio of male and female characters in movies have not changed since 1946. J.K. Rowling, who's the author of the Harry Potter series, was convinced by her publisher to go by J.K. instead of Joanne because it was believed that the boys wouldn't read her books if they knew that they were written by a woman. And so it goes on, that there is all of these reinforcing messages that are filled with standards for ways in which we're expected to look, speak, and act as women. These messages have cultivated what women think of themselves, and over the course of several years, these messages influence often result in females denying their authentic self in favor of becoming the person everyone else wants them to be. This denial of self creates a void and as a deep sadness, a sense of longing, and sometimes more a lack of self-love and a sense of disconnected from one's own body. When we come back, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about how most women, a lot of women, are at their height of self-esteem by the age of 9, and it plummets deeply from there the rest of their lives. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call EarthChannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Well, welcome back. You're listening to Radio AMB on HealthyLife.net. We're doing a special show today. My guest was not able to make it, and so I've taken the opportunity to share with you some of the amazing learnings that I have been involved in the last 60 days, preparing for 2017 and how we're going to make a difference in the world. And I've been talking about Anna Bogus from the book 9 Ways We're Screwing Up Girls and How We Can Stop It, a guide to helping girls reach their highest potential. And I'm talking about it because I think that in the context of where we are right now as far as our society, our culture here in the United States, and the climate around the world, it's really important for us to understand what has happened to create an environment that has allowed us to elect the current administration, and what do we need to do in order to change the outcome. So I mentioned earlier that there are all of these various different messages that go on in the world that create an environment where by the age of 9, most young girls have reached the height of their self-esteem. And from 9 on, science indicates that it just plummets for many women. And how we can see this show up for women and girls is that you can you'll hear them speak negatively about their looks, their ability, and their potential. I am blown away at how often I hear this language. They don't speak openly about or downplay their strengths and their accomplishments. As a general, we tend to consistently defer to men in our lives as authorities, whether it be husbands, partners, fathers, bosses, neighbors, coworkers, but we tend to Women who have low self-esteem tend to be in a situation in which they look at the men as the authorities in their life. They're always aiming to please others, even at their own expense, and often over time lose track of what they really want because they're so focused on taking care of others. Our society is taught that a woman is a person who takes care of first of everyone else before they take care of themselves. And in that respect, they treat their husband's work as a priority over their own. They express a lack of trust in themselves and what they know, both intellectually and instinctually. If a male counters what they believe, they're more inclined to go with the male's perspective than their own. Not using our voice is another way that you see a female that doesn't have a very high self-esteem, don't speak up for herself, speaking negatively about other women, allowing ourselves and other women to be treated disrespectfully, especially when it comes from men. It's part of my agitation over the current elected administration. I'm outraged at the idea that we as a society are putting ourselves in a position where we are being collectively abused by this administration and some of the things that these people have said. Making time for everyone else except for ourselves, calling anything we do for ourselves solely as selfish, defining it as selfish if we take care of ourselves. Giving up our names when we marry, I know it's part of the societal norm that that's not a good thing. I personally am one of those people that did, and it's for an entirely different set of reasons, but from a societal perspective, this can be reflective of what we've learned, that we are now owned by our husband. In respect, giving our children our father's last name and allowing our own name to go away. So those are some of the things that Anna Bogus talks about as reflective of, or some of the signs that you can look for to see a woman who has really lost her self-esteem. And what she does is she's working to coach women to achieve personal empowerment and to build healthy relationships personally and professionally. She, in her book, supplies recipes to start the journey if you are a female and feel like you need work to help with your self-esteem, but also our society as a whole. And I thought they were really very interesting. I won't go into all of the detail, but a few that I thought really stood out in my mind as things that are worthy to take a look at. One is determine if you are that individual that needs to work on self-esteem. Determine your starting place for your change. I mean, which of those things that we mentioned as far as indication of low self-esteem exists for you, and doing a good inventory and being able to set what the priorities are for yourself. The second is be confident that you are the captain of your own ship. Know that Franklin Covey said it best, I think, when he said that be proactive is about recognizing that you are the writer of the program. If it's software, we're the ones that have the ability to write the program. So we are the captains of our own ship, and we have the opportunity to decide what we want, the life we want to live. And the third is determine what you want to create. What is that life that you want to live? Including who's the woman that I want to be and how do I want to feel about myself? Those are important questions, and part of the determining your starting place is to answer some of those questions. 4 is to seek guidance from other wise women on the journey. Collect wise women around you. I know that at a time in my life when I didn't have very high self-esteem, I was uncomfortable with other women. And so as we gain in our strength and our own confidence, being able to build a community of other women is particularly important. Number 5 is to commit to changing your behavior, starting with the basics. And there's all sorts of different things along this line. Commit to 60 minutes of me time every day. And if you can't carve out time or don't feel comfortable with a book, watch a TED Talk. I love the TED Talk. There's also all sorts of great information that's there that can help change behavior. Number 6 is remember the innate power that you hold as a woman. And the idea here is that we've been taught that the way that society is today, where it is a patriarchal environment where it's male-dominated is the way it's always been, but in fact there is tremendous amount of work and scientific anthropologists and historians that have uncovered all sorts of information that confirms the existence of a balanced egalitarian society that flourished between the 7th and 5th millennia BCE and well before that. And if there's a variety, if you go on Netflix, there is a variety of different programs that document the period in our history where it was a balanced environment, where male and females were not only treated equally, but everyone was respected and honored, and the strengths and the various different talents that each sex and various different ethnicities brought were things that were cherished. Today we have the issue of age, which, has never been part of a prejudiced environment before, because we never had as many different generations all coexisting at the same time. We now have up to 7 to 8 generational layers that are existing in the workplace. So we have a new level of acceptance and understanding the power that comes with every level of our age. So being able to understand and bringing that to bear to allow us to become more empowered and have self-esteem. Number 7 is to bring men on board, and that's an important aspect of this because, part of my journey has been to surround myself with amazing people in my community, and I could not say I could do it without my husband and the other wonderful men that have shown up in my life. Buckle up and take steps towards bigger, better changes. Find and create a circle of women to be your support system. And last but not least, realize that you will need to learn, heal, and model at the same time. So that is one of the most important books that I think I've read this year, and I'm particularly excited about applying it. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about how I'm taking and applying these lessons in 2017. Stay with us.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need, from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap state. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
Oh, man, it never fails. My suitcase just got ripped apart.
Life is a journey. Make it a pleasant one. Use Samsonite. You know the name. For almost a century, Samsonite luggage has proved itself to be the worldwide leader in innovative travel solutions. Let it be yours. Visit HealthyLife.net's affiliate Samsonite on our homepage and click to look at the fine luggage from suitcases to golf travel bags. And don't forget, take a look at their travel accessories. Make life a journey, a pleasant one, with Samsonite.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
Well, welcome back. We're wrapping up this last segment of Radio AMB on healthylife.net. I'm Patty Schmucker, and we've been talking today about some of the interesting books and learning that I have been able to participate in over the last 60 days as I've closed out 2016 and getting ready for 2017. We talked a little bit about building an extraordinary mind and the 9 ways we're screwing up girls and how we can stop. And as I go into this last segment, I want to talk to you a little bit about how I plan to connect the dots with these books and some of the learnings in life that I'm going through right now. I guess the most important thing that I take away from some of these things is that I am incredibly confident that I am the captain of my own ship. I have and will continue to build and live a life that is full of joy and rich and authentic relationships with people who want to show up as positive and loving beings. I've recently had some posting on my Facebook, if you're part of my community, where people will show up in a very positive dialogue and start casting negative comments, calling people names, pulling things down to a personal environment, and I absolutely stop people in their track, invite them to participate at a level where everyone is kind and respectful, but I'm not having any part of that in my life with people that can't show up in that manner. I know I have a choice on who can have my energy and where I choose to put my time. So I'm choosing very carefully what people to be involved in, what activities and causes that I'll put my attention into. And I'm this year really focused on surrounding myself with people who have diverse thinking, but have the maturity to share their thinking in a way that's respectful, kind, and open to hearing the diverse thinking of others. That, to me, if there's a variety of different ideas and programs that I've got underway right now, but that, to me, is my big bucket list for 2017, is to figure out some forums and arenas where people like myself can come together and begin to have open dialogues about how to solve some of the real problems facing this country and this world. Second, I'm going to be using my work as a place to engage people in dialogue and activities that are going to focus on empowering our nation to do what we've always done, which is to grow, to be stronger, to get better, and to make the world a better place. I'm focused this year on building cultures in all the organizations that I touch, and I have the good fortune and privilege in my work to touch all sorts of different types of companies in the health, wellness, and beauty. And all of those, I'm going to really focus on bringing innovation and joy as part of my goal for this year. During the next 6 months, you're going to see AmericanMadeBeauty.com evolve into a site with more community engagement and commerce. And as a result of some of the training that I've been doing the last 6 months or the last 60 days, really focused on community. And what does that mean? How do we create value? And how is there an opportunity for us to have more back and forth dialogue and bring to people things that are of value to them is really what our goal is. So we've created already our Give Back segment section of our website. Right now we have a focus on futures without violence and eyes on cancer. We'll also be adding, because I'm going to be joining forces with Real Girl Empowerment Movement, so we'll be joining them and bringing information about their organization to our site as well, and ways in which the community can come together to help those organizations and to help our society. February 1st, we'll launch our new weekly email newsletter, chock full of news for the industry, about the industry, and content for consumers. In 2017, we'll continue our work helping U.S. beauty companies create their U.S. export that will help make American Made Beauty a powerful voice for American businesses and the manufacturing that's being done. This year, we have a whole series of digital webinars that we are launching beginning February 2nd, and most Thursdays throughout February and March, we will be doing webinars. Most of the webinars happen from an hour long on Thursdays between 9 and 10 and between 10:30 and 11:30. The first one's coming up. We have February the 2nd is with Mark Kremer of Conkle, Kremer and Engel law firm, and it's called Don't Just Build It, Protect It. It's going to be a webinar that talks about beauty brands and how to what are some of the legal protections that are necessary. And then we'll also have Tom Nickel of Advanced Cosmetic Research Lab, Getting the Goop in the Jar Right. The following week, I myself will be doing a program called Price and Size Matters. We'll talk about how to properly price products and make sure that you have products in the right size. And then Lisa Kovner of Kovner & Company talking about digital beauties and the way that marketing is being done in the world today with digital. So those are all of the webinars that are going to be coming up and many more. You can go to beautyindustryprogram.com to hear all about those various different programs. We'll also be delivering our Beauty Industry Market Access Program, which is 2 parts. Level 1 is a 2-day program. If you've ever thought about building a beauty brand or you're in the beginning stages, less than $2 to $3 million is the beginning stages for a beauty brand, come join us for this 2-day program that gives you all of the tools that you need to be able to effectively build a health, beauty, wellness brand, from pricing to legal protections and all of the various different things that will help you be successful, and building it from the very beginning so it has the capacity to go international when and if the time comes. The second level of BEMA program is a 3-day program that's really designed for those companies that are $2 million and above, either never exported before or are just beginning to export. Walk you through all of the key issues that you need to navigate in order to be effective at international distribution. Both programs we bring together industry experts to be able to help you achieve these things. We've got a ton of other new things that are happening this year, and again, the application of my learning is what inspires me to be able to grow my business. I've never felt, I feel very confident about where we are and the changes that lie ahead, and that by being the captain of my own ship, I have the capacity to be able to create and continue to build a life that brings me joy and bliss. And I would hope that for each and every single one of you as well. So thanks for listening today. If you have any other ideas that you'd like to hear from about our show, projects that you think is a good fit for American Made Beauty, contact me at request@American Made Beauty. Next week, we have a fun show with one of those rising stars of the industry. Tatum Neal is one of the youngest generation of a multi-generational royal family of the industry. The Neal Corporation has been providing education and inspiration for the professional industry for many years. Tatum has created Elevate Hair, which brings together the community of hairdressers for inspiration, music, performance, and education. He'll be here in Los Angeles next week in preparation for a show they're doing February the 13th at the Viper Room in L.A. that will bring local artists together for a show for both consumers and professionals. So join us next week to meet Tatum and to learn about the show. I'm Patty Schmucker. Thank you for listening to Radio AMB, where we think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty.